Hello, everybody. This is Mr. Kusaj, and this is lesson 4.7, the law of sines and the law of cosines. Basically, these are two formulas that help us solve non-right triangles. If you remember at the beginning of this chapter, when we saw sine, cosine, and tangent, we were working strictly with right triangles. Well, there's a sine rule, or sine law, or sine formula that helps us with non-right triangles, and another formula called the cosine formula, cosine rule, that helps us with these non-right triangles, depending on what's given to us. Okay, so first of all, here's an example of a non-right triangle, and it's customary tradition to use capital letters for the angles and then lowercase letters for the sides. Also, it's always paired up as angle and opposite side. So if you have angle A and side A, even without the photo, if you were talking about angle A and side A, I know they are opposite of each other. Angle C and side C, angle B and side B, I know they're opposite each other. Okay, so when we get to the formulas, you're going to see these letters. This is the triangle they refer to. Okay? So here's the first one. The law of sine says that the sine of angle A over side A is equal to the sine of angle B over side B. And that's an equation. Now, if you don't have B, right, then you can make it equal to C. So you're not going to use all three of them, right? You're not going to use all three parts. You're just going to use two. But which two are given to you, we don't know yet. We haven't gotten there. But it's saying that they all work. Now, keep in mind, it's very easy to remember this one because the letters match. And keep in mind, remember what we said before. Big A, little a means that they are opposite each other. This angle is opposite this side, right? So let's see this in action. We are going to solve triangles that are not right triangles. Okay? So here is the first example. The first thing you need to know is that we can only use this formula when you have a pair of angle and opposite side that goes with it, right? You got to have a pair of angle and a side opposite it. Like, for example, here's an angle, here's a side opposite it. You can have other information, but you need an angle and a side opposite. So let's look at our triangle. Do we have an angle and a side opposite it? Yes, we do. Here's the angle, here's the side opposite. So we can continue. So it says find all parts. Let's do the easy parts first. And let me see what I did. Yeah. So the easiest one to get, since we have two angles, is this third angle. You know all triangles have 180 degrees, so use that rule, right? 35, 103, and this missing angle has to come out to 180. So the way I do it is I start with the total, subtract the two that I have, and what I have left is the missing angle. I'm done, right? I found angle C, right? Capital letter C. Now I need side C and side A. Okay, now I use the sine formula, or the law of sines. So let me set it up. So remember, it's got to be angle side opposite, angle, side opposite. So sine of 103 goes with 20, right? Sine of 35, that would go with side A. So I set it up. Now, look at it like a proportion. Now remember, you only have one unknown here. Sine of 103 is some value that you can get with the calculator. So is sine 35. So really, it's just one unknown. Okay? I decided to get A first, but I could have gotten C first as well. It doesn't matter which one you get as long as you set it up correctly. So if you cross multiply and solve, okay, so I skipped the solving steps, but I'm sure you know how to solve an easy proportion. Hit the calculator, right? 20 times sine 35 equals sine 103 times A. Set up the equation and solve it. So cross multiply and solve, and you get A is 11.8. So I got side A, I got angle C, I'm missing this. So now I need to reset my formula so it includes letter C. Now remember, letter C goes with angle C, and I have angle C. So that's where I got this. Sine 42, which I got, right, goes with C. So sine 42 over C, sine 103 over 20, right? That's what the formula says. Sine of the angle over the opposite side. Okay? And that's it. Do what you did before. Cross multiply and solve, and you'll get C is equal to 13.7. Okay? So I was missing three parts. This side, and this angle, and I found all three parts. Okay? That's the law of sines. Let's look at the law of cosines. Now, the law of cosines you're going to use when you can't use this law, right? Suppose you didn't have this angle and you just had three sides. Then what? You certainly can't use this, because for this you need an angle and a side, and you now don't have any angles. So if this would have been here, this wouldn't have worked. Well, that's where the other formula comes in. The law of sines. Hold it, right there. The law of sines says a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2 times bc cosine A. Yeah, it's not as easy to remember as the first one. Remember, the little letters mean sides, and the big letter means angle. Okay? So what's important here is the positions. Notice that this is the sides you're looking for, so the other two sides go here. Notice that these two sides match these two sides, and this letter matches this letter. So if you're looking for this side, you need this, the angle opposite it. Now I know I'm speaking really fast and gets confusing, but remember, it's a formula. So what if you aren't looking for side A, you're looking for side B? Then you rearrange it. So you start with B, and then the other two sides go here. What if you're looking for side C? Then you rearrange it and start with C, and the other two sides go here. Okay? So basically, you got to just remember one of them, and what goes here is the side that you're looking for. The other two sides go here. Okay? So you use this when you don't have an angle and opposite side. Right? Look at this here. You don't have an angle and opposite side. Here's an angle, there's no opposite side. Here's a side, there's no angle to go with it. Here's a side, there's no angle. So the sine law wouldn't work here. And the sine law wouldn't work here either. Right? Because you don't have any angles here. But it would work here. It would work with the law of cosines. Okay? So let me go ahead and copy that. let me erase the answers here just to show what is missing, okay? So we're missing two angles. We're missing two angles, these two angles, and we're missing one side. Okay? Now, again, notice that you cannot use the sine angle here. If you try and use the sine angle, you'll get into trouble. You won't have enough parts. Okay? Angle, it's this situation, right? Angle, no side. Side, no angle. Side, no angle. So we can't use the sine here. Remember, you need top and bottom, angle on the side. We don't have it here. So, what should we get first? Let's get this side first. So I'm going to start my formula with C, right? So the side that's missing, C squared, is equal to the other two sides squared. See that? Right? The side that you're looking for, that's the letter, that's on the left, equals the other two sides that you know, and they're both squared, and they go here. Minus 2 times these same two sides, but not squared, right? 8, 5, 8, 5, 8, 5, right? Times cosine of the angle opposite this. Remember? Little c, big C. So if your angle, if your side is C, then you must want this angle. So cosine 65. And that's it. You can put all of this carefully in the calculator, press equal or enter, and you'll get the answer. Here I took a couple of steps to do it. Okay, so you multiply this, you get 33.8. 64 plus 25 minus 33.8 comes out to 55.2. That's not the answer because we're looking for C. This is C squared. So square root both sides and we get C equals 7.4. Right? So now that I know this is 7.4, right? Now that I know this is 7.4, look what I have. I have an angle, and an opposite side. So now that I have 7.4, I can use the sine formula. So let me not use this again because this is longer. Let me go back to the sine formula. Now we can use the sine law. Right? So set it up really quick. 7.4 goes with 65, right? 7.4 goes with 65. So sine 65 over 7.4 is equal to, let's go for A first, sine A over 5, right? Sine of the unknown angle over 5. So now we just have one unknown. Cross multiply and solve, right? So if you cross multiply and solve, you get this. And combine that with the calculator, you get 0.6124. And do you remember how to get the angle if you have the value? Inverse. Remember? Inverse sine, and you'll get the angle. So now I know the angle is 38. Angle A is 38. So I'm missing angle B. Well, that's easy, because now you have two angles, and you're missing a third. Well, just use the 180 rule. Angle B is 180 minus the two angles you got. It's 77. So, do I have some try problems here? Yeah. So, try these problems, and we will do them in class next time I see you. Okay? I'll tell you right now, the sine law use here, the cosine law you use here. Okay? You're not supposed to see the 13.8. That's the answer, but you got to work it out to get the 13.8, right? Okay. Why am I erasing it? It's on video. You can just go back and see it. Okay, so see you next time for part 2. All right, under 15 minutes. That's pretty good. Bye.